Hi everyone, welcome back to my kitchen and channel. So today I'm going to show you how I make one of my hops bread recipe. This is another one that I make. I've already have my first version on the YouTube channel, so please check it out. And this is the second version. This one will be making with, I have here 4 cups of flour, and to that I will add half cup of wheat bran. Okay, this is the wheat bran, right? So I will add that in there to the flour. So the first step is the flour, 4 cups. The second step is the wheat bran, half cup. And the third step will be my salt, which is 1.5 teaspoon of salt goes in there. And I have here some powdered milk, 3 tablespoons of powdered milk. Okay, that goes in there as well. And while I am doing all that, I have my yeast mix here that's blooming. I have 1/4 cup of sugar. I added 1/4 of it to the yeast mixture, so the rest will go into that flour. And lastly, I have 1 tablespoon of oil. I'm using olive oil. You could use whatever oil you want. And I have my butter, my 4 tablespoons of melted butter or warm butter. And this is my yeast mixture. It's starting to bloom or to froth up a little bit. So I'm going to just mix this to combine everything together. And you're going to have an extra half cup or 1 cup of flour extra at the side, because when we're going to do the second knead, we're going to need that extra flour. That's when we're going to turn it on the counter surface and knead that there. And then obviously we'll need some when we're making the little dough balls to set in the baking dish. So I'll show you the next step. As soon as that yeast mixture blooms and froths up to the top of that measuring cup, I'll add that butter to that and then mix this and have a little extra water at the side just in case we need that extra liquid. Okay, so stay tuned. See how it's getting there? It's really bubbly and frothing up and foaming up. You can skip this step and just add your yeast and your sugar, everything in the flour mixture like how we used to make bread long ago, and mix it with the milk. But I find when I do it this way, this version, the bread, the hops bread itself comes out light and fluffy and soft. So that's why I'm blooming that yeast or getting that yeast to foam up before mixing this. Okay, so let's get this together, put this together. You see how it frothed up? Okay, we started out with 2 cups of liquid, and now it's like about almost 3 cups when it foamed up. You can leave it a little bit to foam up more, but I'm going to start it, okay, while that milk and that butter is warm in there. So I'm not going to use my hands to mix this. I'm going to use that wooden spoon. And let's get this mixing. So pour little liquid at a time and mix with your wooden spoon, because I don't want to get, it's going to be a sticky dough and I don't want to get my hands messy just yet. And that milk and that butter, how it's warm, that is going to give this dough a head start to start to double in size or to rise or to poof, or however you want to say it. This husk bread can be eaten with butter and cheese or jams or avocados, however you want to eat it with. Right, so you see that milk, that 2 cups of milk, okay? I use that for the yeast to bloom. So now we'll have to get 2 cups of water here. So I'm starting out with 1 cup of water, and then I'll measure the other cup if it's needed. To get that together. Your water can be warm as well too, to continue with that rising. So now it's a little bit workable. So I'm going to switch to my hands. Just clean off that spoon. And you see that little bit, that bowl the butter was in, just coat your hands with that butter. And let's continue with this with hands. So it's it's not very soft, but it's workable now. And what we're going to do, remember I told you have that extra flour available, that extra 1 cup of flour. I'm going to place this in that kitchen counter here, that counter. Make sure it's clean and dry, so we can transfer that dough on our floured surface. So we're just going to take it out from the bowl. Don't get rid of that bowl just as yet, because we're going to oil that bowl and place back that dough in there. Right, but pass back that butter in your hands, and we're going to continue to knead this. Continue putting your flour on your surface to knead this, because we don't want this sticking on your surface. And we're going to knead it. Right now it's soft, it's sticky, but it's not that elasticity or elasticy texture yet. So that is what we want to form, that gluten, or as they say, gluten. Flour that surface because it's sticky right now. So keep raising and push down. Raising and push down. Raise with the inside of your hands and push down with the back of the top of your hands. The more you knead it, the better that bread will come out. Right. And form that dough now, because the feel of it is good for me. Pinch that bottom. Right, we're going to oil this with that oil, or you can use butter as well too. So oil that bowl. And we're going to place it back, seam side down. See how pretty that looks? All that wheat. The wheat bran is showing. So what we'll do now is drizzle the top of it with oil. That olive oil. This process will help that top of that dough from not forming that crust or that thin skin that it forms. Right, we're going to cover this with plastic wrap. Make sure the side of your bowl is oiled as well too. So when it rises and doubles, it won't stick to the sides. So when we have to transfer it back to the countertop, it will just fall off of that bowl very, very easily. And that's it. Cover it with, so we're going to cover this with this plastic wrap here. When I do those cling wraps and plastic wraps gives me trouble to burst out from the rolls. So what I do, I have that plastic bag, the clean plastic bags, and I cut them, and that's what I use. And when that dough rises and doubles, it will not stick to that kitchen towel that I'm putting. It will remain on the plastic wrap. So we're not going to get anything dirty. You clean up as you go, and you cover them with your kitchen towel and leave that to rise or to double, as they say. Leave it in a warm place. You can put it in your oven where the pilot light is just lightened, so it will remain warm in there. Or you can leave it on your countertop, because I am cooking in the kitchen, so the kitchen is warm. And I'll show you when it's doubled. So here I have a butter dish that I greased with butter. So I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. You see how it raised really, really beautifully. It has doubled in size. And I'm going to take off that plastic wrap. See how beautifully it has risen? I'll show you a closer look. You see that? That's how you know that bread or that hops will come out really, really good. Seeing it? So what I'll do now is oil my hands with some of the olive oil. Just a little bit of olive oil on my hands. Okay, just oil it. So when you give that the little gentle punch, you know. Now a lot of people give it that heavy punch, that big punch. I don't see the reason for that. You want the gases to come out, but you can also do a gentle punch. Okay? Bread is like that. You treat it gentle, and treat it nice, and it will come out nice for you. Right? And we're gonna turn out this on the flour surface here. So let's move out the bowl. Just wipe down your surface. You're gonna dust it with flour. And you're gonna put your dough here. Move out that bowl aside. And we're going to knead back this a little bit to form that dough ball again. Have your flour so you can dust your surface. That's why I said have an extra half cup or a cup of flour separately. And give it that knead. Lift with the underneath of your hands like this and bring it back up. Lift and knead. Lift and knead. Lift and punch back down, knead. Lift and press back down, knead. Right? The more you knead it, the better it will be. Form that dough ball. Pinch it, right, and sprinkle it with a little flour to hold it. Turn it back around and form your dough ball. Make sure the top is floured. Right? And I'll show you. This is what you will get. A beautiful, beautiful dough. So what you will do now is take your dough divider or your bench scraper, and you're going to brush it with a little olive oil or butter, okay, so it won't stick. So just brush it, right, and then we'll cut. So we're going to divide this in half. Okay, move that half aside. Then we're going to, let me see how I'm going to do this. You either can cut it this way and form back the two into the balls, like this, right? Form it back like this into little dough balls to make it easier, right? And we're going to cut this in four. So make sure your surface is floured, right? And before we cut them in four, what we're going to do is cut it in half again, right? And because if I don't want to cut it like this and then this. It's going to be too big for one. So that's why I'm cutting it in half. And then that half, I'm going to cut it again. So let's see what we're going to end up with. So I'll cut this one in 3 and this one in 3. Okay, and I will cut that down. So yeah, just pinch off a little piece from each of these. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay? Because they are going to raise and get big. So I don't want to make them too big. It's not for burgers. If it was for burgers, then I would have made them bigger. So this is one. And just keep making your individual little balls, right? And place them in your greased dish. Or grease tray. This is another one. And when you finish making all of them, you're going to cover it with that plastic wrap again and that kitchen towel. And you're going to leave it to rest for 30 minutes again, to double in size again. And then we'll put it in the oven to bake. So let me finish this process and I'll show you what it looks like. What it looks like. Okay, now I'm going to cover it back with the plastic wrap and the kitchen towel. And I'm going to let this rest to double in size again, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so let's check them. Wow, they have doubled in size. Now I'm going to remove that cling wrap, the plastic wrap, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush them with some butter. You can use an egg wash to brush them with. An egg wash. The egg wash will get it that golden color. But today I am going to use some butter to brush it with. But I'm not going to use that brush because I don't want any holes poking in that bread or hops. So what I'm going to do is, what I usually do is roll up a sheet of paper towel or bounty, right, because it's very light to the tip, and I'm going to brush that butter on it. So and the butter will keep it soft and nice. It will give it a golden color as well. And I'm going to butter them on top and then place them in the oven. After brushing them, I'm going to place them in the oven for 300 degrees for 35 to 50 minutes until that golden brown color forms on top of it. When it's finished, you can brush it again with some of that butter to retain the softness to that crust. So I'm just going to continue brushing them up and I'll show you when it's finished what it looks like. This can be eaten with cheese or butter or jams. Okay, so I'll show you when it's finished what it looks like. It's in the oven, and I adjusted the shelf so the tray of bread would be situated in the middle of the oven, so it will get even heat at the bottom and at the top. And I am starting out with that 300 and let it start to cook, and then I'll probably raise it at 350, and I'll show you when it's finished. So it has finished. I'm going to take them out from the oven and brush them with some butter. So I just took it out from the oven, and this is what it looks like. I'll show you. I am going to brush them with butter again, and you will see how it will get its shine. So my bread is finished, and now I can use my brush to brush it, because I don't have to worry about getting it with any holes to deflate it. It's already baked, and you see how beautiful the butter will have it, that shine. I'll try to keep it as vegetarian as I can today, because sometimes you don't really want to use the egg wash. You want to use just butter. Just take your time and brush them with that butter to give it that sheen or shine. And the best time to eat this is when it's hot and fresh out of the oven. That's it. I'll show you a closer look at it now as it's brushed with that butter. See how beautiful they look? Really, really nice. See? Really, really nice.